The modding scene in racing games has been growing with each year. Tons of new ones coming out for various different games. Some being simple changes, some being complete overhauls from the vanilla experience, and etc. Today I wanted to show a few that I thought were interesting, and hopefully make this into a series of sorts where I play a bunch of different mods in one video. Now let's get started.
Save you some San Pellegrino, John.
Starting it off with Gran Turismo 5 Evolution. This mod aims to overhaul the career of Gran Turismo 5 by adding in a lot of new events and utilizing more tracks than the original game has. There were a lot of PS2 tracks left in the database that Nenkai was able to restore in his master mod, only drive on those tracks in the arcade mode. However, this mod manages to add these PS2 tracks into the A-Spec career mode. Only thing you will notice is that on the PS2 tracks, the map doesn't work and the mod creator mentioned there isn't a way to display it. However, you can still see the sector times to know how far ahead or behind you are from your rivals. On top of that, the cups and championships have been reorganized into the different categories available. The cars in each competition has been modified to be as close as possible to the PP rating. So for example, if Sunday Cup's PP rating is 400, then the AI will be close to that number with upgraded rides, making it a bit more challenging than how it was before. The AI was really weak and easy to overtake in most events in the vanilla game, so it feels a lot more fun to try and battle against them. Apart from the PS2 tracks, there are also a lot of custom unused tracks in the game that have been added into the career for more variety. The limit of drivers has been increased from 12 to 16, and you start from the back of the grid rather than the middle how it was before. Tire wear never was utilized outside of the endurance racing mode, but now every event has tire wear and fuel consumption enabled, so if you have a longer event, you will have to utilize pit stops a bit more often, which is great as they barely were ever used before this. Tracks also have variable weather changes to them now. For example, in Eiger Nordwand, you can see snow making the track a bit more slippery. Unfinished tracks like SS7 also can have it, though one problem I encountered in it was you couldn't equip the intermediate or rain tires. Because of that, you'll most likely spin out a lot of times on the track, especially if you encounter the night version of the Nordschleife. License tests were also not important in the vanilla game. However, in the mod, you will have to complete the tests to unlock the events in the career, just like it was in the older Gran Turismo games. Assists are also disabled in here by default, so you'll have to check for that in each car before driving. Those are mostly the important things that it does at the moment, as the mod is still work in progress, but to see so many cool changes already into this game feels amazing. While I was playing it, it felt like I was playing Gran Turismo 4, but with newer graphics and physics. It certainly has a lot of potential, and I'm very curious to see where it will go from here. I will leave a link to the GT Planet page where you can comment your thoughts and feedbacks on the mod. And thank you once again to Edic for giving me an early access to try out this mod. Before playing this mod, I haven't really played much of Need for Speed Rivals, mostly because it just didn't interest me as much as the other Need for Speed games have. But this mod is a more recent release made by the Evolution team that also have made a mod for Need for Speed Heat. What this Evolution mod does is improve the cops and racers in Need for Speed Rivals. Before this, the cops and racers were a lot easier and not that challenging to deal with, but in this mod, it's the polar opposite now. I asked a person from their team to help explain that a bit more, so thank you to Laura for helping out with this next part. In vanilla Rivals, the AI cops and racers have different personalities to determine which AI does what. For the racers, you would have a clean, a reckless, and a weapon racer. There is more different racers, of course, which all have their own separate pathfinding skills, weapon usage skills, and also speed segments with a avoidance ability. With the racers in vanilla, sometimes they're a little bit unbalanced, and there isn't really any way to tell which AI racer is which, besides the weapons racer, because it uses weapons more frequently than any other AI racer in the game. Same applies to the cops. They have their own cop types, the interceptors, brutes, and advanced aggressors. Same thing as the racers, there are more types than just these three. Each cop has its own pathfinding skills, weapon usage, etc. With the cops in vanilla, they always focus on speed and insane usage of weapons without doing anything else in between those delays for the weapon cooldown periods. In vanilla, they all use the same values even if there are different types of AI besides the weapons racer. As for the modded version with Evo, it's more unique and gives more mechanics to the AI in the game. Firstly, the cops. Their new mechanic would be Rhino attacks at higher heat levels past 5. So what it does, it spawns a bunch of cops ahead of your position, and they all trigger the ESF tech and try to go for a head-on attack. All cop types are very unique and do different things unlike what you see in the vanilla game. Interceptors have better pathfinding values to cut the player off or get ahead of them. Brutes focus on attacks with the balanced out weapon usage while also having different access to pursuit tech. Advanced advanced aggressors are the ones to worry about the most. They go for head-on rhino attacks with ESF active, and they focus on speed, better pathfinding to the player, actual tactics like you would see in Need for Speed Heat, where they will box you in and have much better coordination with other AI cops. Undercover cops will also join pursuits at higher heat levels to throw the players off. They have a mix of pursuit tech that are very unique. As for the racers, each have their traits. For example, the clean racers will just focus on racing and not use weapons, and they will keep themselves on the race line more effectively, while the reckless racers focus more on shortcuts, even if they are riskier, and they often smash traffic cars out of the way. And then you have the violent racer, which targets anything in its way. From my time playing this mod, I could feel all of these changes in the races. They felt so much more intense, not just with the cops and the pressure they put on you, but also the racers as they use their equipment far more often, so you really have to be precise on how you are going about in these events. It genuinely made me more excited to keep playing this, and overall I had a really fun time with this mod. If you're looking for a reason to revisit this game, then I definitely recommend you to try out this mod for more intense challenging events from both cop and racer side. Thank you again to Laura from the Evolution team for helping out with this portion of the video. For Test Drive Unlimited, there is one mod that has been around for quite a while, called the Platinum mod. It mostly adds in a ton of cars from the modern era for you to play around with around Hawaii. Over 800 plus cars in this mod, changes to the physics to be more responsive with the newly added cars, dedicated cameras for each vehicle, new weather, map textures, a pretty nice overhaul from the vanilla game for those that just want to cruise around with a lot more cool cars at their disposal. Regarding TDU 2, the most well-known mod at the moment is Project Paradise 2. When the official TDU 2 servers shut down in 2018, players lost access to much of the game's online content. In 2022, developer Cooksey and the community revived the experience with Project Paradise 2, a multiplayer mod that brings the game back to life. The project started with core features such as free roam multiplayer, live races, and clubs. In the past few years, additional online features were added, to the point where it's almost feature complete. Friends, clubs, official racing center, community racing center, house invites, multiplayer police chase, My TDU Live, and more are now available in Project Paradise 2. It's available on PC and PS3, as well as on the Steam Deck, with install and setup guides for each platform. Their launcher includes options to download community mods, quality of life improvements, customization mods, and crash fixes. The players also have the ability to unpack their game and customize their experience even more. For example, with the Unbounded Car Pack, which adds over 330 new cars to the game. It's the best way to experience one of the most special driving games ever made. With many online features now working again after many years, you can go for a nostalgia trip with your friends and enjoy this gem. There's also a big Discord community with helpful resources such as installation and troubleshooting guides. Project Paradise 2 also features a very reliable server with barely any downtime and great stability. Undercover Exposed is a global overhaul mod for Need for Speed Undercover that pushes the limits of the original game while addressing its flaws. It is currently in development, with multiple downloadable beta versions released since 2022. The project started with a few add-on cars and customization, and has since then grown to a much bigger scale, touching almost every aspect of the game. The modders went as far as to start creating new tools, allowing for exclusive features and a few world firsts for this game, such as body swaps, better car models, day and night cycle, and more. Out of the box, Exposed gives you control over its modules, letting you toggle features, remove changes you don't want, and tailor the experience to your personal preference. The car list is one of the biggest highlights of the mod. It includes about 30 new add-on cars, with nearly 20 vanilla ones getting a rework, and more additions to come in later versions. Thanks to a plethora of new kits, parts, and vinyls on both reworked and new cars, you can customize your ride with a seemingly endless amount of customization. Some of these combinations are showcased by new AI opponents which naturally appear in races. On top of this, some elements previously hidden in the base game are made available, such as collector's edition cars and vinyls, hidden body kits, and fully restored cut cars. Visuals also receive a major overhaul. The original bloomy yellow filter has been stripped away in favor of modern lighting presets and much nicer sky textures. The mod features an all-new day and night cycle, turning the city into a dynamic environment that never looks twice the same. World models have been edited for the occasion, such as land lampposts, traffic lights, and raised barriers. Visual updates extend to the interface with a refreshed HUD, new camera presets that amplify the sense of speed, and subtle tweaks to effects like lens flares, nitrous flames, and motion blur. The audio experience is also enhanced with add-on music and updated engine sounds. Driving mechanics also underwent a major rework. Vehicle performance values have been thoroughly edited, while both surface physics and collision behavior were tweaked. Players looking for a greater challenge can also enable higher difficulty settings, ensuring tougher AI. Together, these changes provide a better, more rewarding driving experience than the base game ever offered. Exposed is currently the only undercover mod to fully revamp the challenge series. This game mode has been rebalanced, polished, and given new life, expanding replayability for veterans and new players alike. The most recent release of the mod, version 143, delivered major visual improvements, cleaned up inconsistencies, and added full compatibility with the game's final patch. And thank you to Dark for helping out with this portion of the video. Now let's go over to a game that doesn't really get that much of a showcase for its modding side, that being Midnight Club 3. It is a console-only game, so it's a bit tougher to play around with compared to the other mods I've shown so far, but that hasn't stopped people from trying. Hell, I even commissioned my friend to make a working randomizer mod for this game, which I featured in this video, but the one person that has truly messed around with this game the most is Almighty Pierre, and I wanted to give the stage to them to talk a bit about how the process goes for this game, and who knows, maybe a few of you will be interested in modding this game as well. Through the use of PCSX2's texture replacement feature, the community has the ability to create unique textures for all parts of the game, such as enhancing current vehicle textures, custom vinyls for all vehicles, custom skyboxes, custom weather. You can definitely do some unique things with this. Through the use of Cheat Engine, the community has made some interesting discoveries, such as making builds that aren't normally possible. You can also unlock hidden parts using the Cheat Engine. For example, the Toyota Celica rims, Maybach rims, hidden Bel Air spoilers. You can also equip the Impala opponent-only body kit and carbon fiber on exotics. This can be also used to put other manufacturer rims on other cars. Thanks to NSP, who made tools to help extract the Rockstar proprietary data files, we now have the ability to understand the game's file structure. From here, you can experiment and make some interesting adjustments, such as weather modifications, changing car stats via the performance editor tools, and play around with the engine sounds to make them sound a lot better. Also, thanks to NSP, we are now able to add custom music into the game. Supertype 1 has made a soundtrack restoration mod which restores cut songs from the game, as well as adding exclusive music from the PSP version of the game and the Joint Chiefs custom soundtrack. There's also even an uncensored soundtrack mod. And it doesn't stop there. You can even add new garage music and even race finish cues. A custom script has been made by ZNX and Awful Bruno, which directly converts MCLA Remix car models to MC3. The script takes car models from Midnight Club LA Remix on the PSP and converts them into a format that Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition on PS2 can use. It reads the 3D model data, like the shape of the car, its textures, and how the parts are connected from the PSP files. Then it rebuilds that data in the layout the PS2 version expects, creates a new game file you can place into Midnight Club 3. Basically, it's a bridge between two game model formats, letting you bring newer PSP car models into the older PS2 game. And that is the majority of the Midnight Club 3 modding scene at the moment. Thank you to Almighty Pierre for helping out with this portion of the video, and if you do have more questions regarding Midnight Club 3 modding, feel free to type them in the comments down below. FlatOut 1 Chloe Collection is a complete overhaul of the original FlatOut with too many features to count, with everything from a new career mode and game modes to countless small quality of life changes. The mod has the overall goal of pumping the game full of new features and improving its weaknesses while still keeping it as a cohesive experience, something that could have been given to a new player without too much trouble. First off, the mod now includes full near-perfect controller support for Xbox controllers, allowing you to navigate the menus with intuitive controls and swap between keyboard and controller inputs seamlessly. There's also been a substantial amount of work put into widescreen fixing the game. The screen won't be stretched anymore, even without any other plugins. The entire HUD has also been fixed up to scale properly. Starting off in the game itself, after creating a new profile, you will find the first new addition. You have a third handling option, Hardcore. It's similar to Professional as a less inherently arcadey mode, but the cars feel way heavier with even less grip, requiring you to constantly focus on keeping control of the car to drive properly. Hardcore is definitely not everyone's everyone's cup of tea, and the devs do not recommend it unless you specifically want to use it. But for those who do like the style of handling, it makes the game way harder and car choice way more important, as some cars handle drastically differently, and just like in the original game, opponents always stay on normal handling. Getting into the single player section, career mode has been entirely reworked. Entering the career mode, you can immediately notice some changes. There are only 3 cars available, and one of them is a custom one: Pepper, Blocker, and a car ported from the game's 2002 port, the Retro Bug. The other 3 bronze class cars are not available from the beginning anymore, and instead slowly unlocked throughout the career completion. After purchasing your first car, there's one immediately noticeable change. There's now a garage menu. You're now able to own multiple cars and sell them at will, just like in FlatOut 2 and Ultimate Carnage. Hitting Go Race now brings up a familiar but for this game brand new menu, allowing you to select a class, of which only bronze is unlocked currently, and then a nicely laid out list of events available in said class. These are no longer single races like in the original. Every class is made up of 6 cups, slowly introducing new maps and upping the opponent difficulty the further you get, similar to the newer FlatOut games. Each class ends with a final cup, which unlike FlatOut 2, is required to unlock the next class and its starting cars. There are also 6 special events to go along with each cup on the bottom half of the list, which includes time trials and other event types such as derbies, stunts, and races on special event tracks like Crash Course Alley. Now that we're in a race, there are a few obvious additions. The music is different. This mod has multiple brand new soundtrack options, one of which being a specially made Chloe Collection soundtrack with new songs, the other being soundtracks from the other FlatOut games. Not to mention, the game no longer loops a single track over and over every race. It now shuffles throughout the songs as you would expect. There's now a player list on the left showing everyone's position. You can toggle this with the L button or left on the D-pad. The map now shows arrows instead of dots, allowing you to see where players are heading. This is especially useful in derbies, as the derby map was incredibly confusing before. The bottom left corner now has a health bar of any nearby opponents, which brings us to another addition. Cars can now lose health and get wrecked in races, just like FlatOut 2. This also means that durability is now a thing, meaning body upgrades actually have a purpose. For some reason in the original game, they didn't do anything, not even in derbies, and you were essentially throwing money out of the window by buying them. Crashing into opponents now also gives you bonuses like in FlatOut 2, from slams to power hits and blast outs. These are cashed out for money at the end of every race, so being aggressive might get you the extra few $100s you need to buy a new car. This track also showcases another addition. If you take the shortcut that has you jump over the log trailer, you'll notice that you gain nitro from going airborne now. Since this game doesn't have the insane amount of risks involved with taking jumps that FlatOut 2 has, taking jump actually has a tangible reward now, and is worth going for in order to get that extra nitro boost. Winning the first race, we see an achievement pop up. This mod has an achievement system, currently including 30 unique achievements, for anything ranging from buying a community-made skin to surviving a derby with the weakest car in the game. Enough about the career mode, there's another brand new mode to sink your teeth into. Arcade mode, similar to Carnage mode from Ultimate Carnage. This mode includes 3 new game modes, with preset events that have target scores you need to achieve in order to unlock more of them. Arcade Race, which is a recreation of Carnage Race, requiring you to cause mayhem and wreck your opponents to gain points. Demolition, which is a reimagining of the Cut Smashy Smash mode, giving you points by destroying as many props as possible within a 1-minute time limit. Frag Derby, which is a recreation of Deathmatch Derby, a more fun version of Derby with respawns, less car health, nitro, and kill streaks. It also shows up some of the new cars and tracks added in the mod, including FlatOut 2 content as well as content from the 2002 FlatOut Retro demo. Time Trial has also seen some changes, as you're now able to choose between hot lapping and full-timed runs of 3 laps, and you also now have a ghost of your best time to directly compete against. Not to mention multiplayer, which has had a massive rework. First of all, there's now split screen support. You may also play the career mode in 2-player split screen, making you able to compete against the AI with a friend. There's now also a multiplayer with up to 8 players through a direct IP connection, with support for AI on top of that. This is brand new, as the original FlatOut only supported local network play, requiring VPN services to work online, and even then it was very unstable. And those are the major changes that the Chloe collection does for FlatOut. And thank you to Chloe for helping me with this segment of the video. I hope this sort of video was interesting for you to watch. If you do want me to showcase more racing game mods, drop a like on the video and comment what other mods to add in a follow-up video. Until then, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.